how's things going?
Going crazy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been, got a new landing mat, got a new sling, got a new net.
Well, heck yeah.
Now I'm just going crazy looking at it.
Get that fiend thing going on.
Yeah,
The what do you call it? Addiction.
yeah,
The addiction.
yeah. I saw Ricky got out there.
Oh
Ricky
yeah.
got out there, caught himself a
Ah,
snow carp.
I was. Me and him was supposed to go
Yeah,
to that place. Me and him together, and but all the snow we started having, I had to shovel. I had to stay
yeah.
here and where I work at and get all everything shoveled off. But I hope everybody had a great year, good Christmas, New Year's, and all that kind of etc. etc. Hope Santa Claus got you what you want. Um, wow. Well, our next guest that we're going to have is here from Indiana. His name's Austin Spain. He used to be, as a matter of fact, he used to be one of my teammates a while back here at Team Fish Fighters. Reached out to him and see if he wanted to come and join our show. But let's get Austin Spain on here.
All right.
Austin Spain.
Starting off the year with the biggest, the baddest, and the best.
There you go, brother.
There you go.
We're
Yeah.
on podcast number 72 now, so we've been doing this definitely for a while. Let's think of a better person to be on the show. Welcome to the show, brother.
Absolutely.
How you
I'm
doing?
glad to be here. Glad to
Awesome.
be here.
For some of the anglers out there that that don't know you, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and how long you've been carp fishing, and and go from there.
Yeah. My name is Austin Spain. Live in Muncie, Indiana. Lived the last 15 years or so in southern Indiana,
Wow,
down around Bedford.
nice.
Started carp fishing in 1998. Lake here in Muncie called Prairie Creek Reservoir.
Okay.
Mostly wild water. Got introduced to some of the pay lakes around here and got me into the pay lake. And back then wasn't so competitive back then, just doing it for fun. Learned how to
Right.
carp fish.
Right.
Carp fish both wild water and pay lake up until probably 2012, from 98 2012ish, and kind of backed away from carp fishing completely. Started fishing the big bass circuits,
Okay.
which really kind of lit a fire for me competitively. And in about 2016, I jumped back onto the carp side and started competitively carp fishing at the pay lakes and some wild water tournaments and things like that. I'm kind of an oddity. I'm a diehard bow hunter, but I'm anti bow fishing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a huge pay lake guy, but I'm also for carp care.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit of everything. Call me the Rainbow Man.
The rainbow.
Yeah, I mean that's nice to see though. You could be one of the voices on the inside finally to be like, hey guys, I know that we all like to go out there and bow hunt, but hey, bow hunting these fish isn't really where it's at. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so much against it
Yeah.
if the fish were being used, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a complete and total waste. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes,
guys
sir.
are shooting carp and leaving them in a ditch, and
Um,
that's my bread and butter in the pay lakes. That's what I like to fish for in the wild.
yeah.
I
Right.
I hate to see a waste like that. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be so much against it.
Yeah.
But there's no use for it.
I'm right there with you.
Yep, I 100% agree.
I think bow fishing sounds like it would be fun, but
Oh yeah,
just shoot what you kill. I mean, eat what you kill. You know what I mean? Not
yeah.
just
Or have a good use for it.
yeah.
And,
Exactly.
and
If you want to feed a
to,
family or your family, that's fine.
yeah.
That's,
I mean, in any other bow hunting sport, duck hunting, deer hunting, whatever,
yeah.
if you shot a deer or a duck and you left it to lay, you're going to jail. I mean, there's laws
Right.
against it.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
But for some reason, you can do it with carp, and I'm not a fan of it. But that is what it is. That's a little background on me, though. I'm a big carp fisherman. Love the thrill, love
Mm-hmm.
the fight, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I know you're pretty competitive. It sounds like you and him both have a little bit lot in common because didn't you used to like do some bass circuits or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Early in the FLW,
Yeah.
I was a co-angler.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For in Indiana, or what did you
Yeah.
do? Okay, I used to fish the BFL circuits.
Nice. Yeah, I was part of some of the IAC stuff like that too early, doing some of the kayak tournaments, and then a couple people were like, "Hey, come fish with me, brother," and I was like, "All right." And then I just got picked up into the world of carp, and Never look back at the bass, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. Nope, I get how that is.
For
So
you carp anglers that are out there, please let us know if you could actually hear us. Sometimes we have a little trouble for our audience not to hear us. Sometimes it's a part on our end. But just let us know. Also, guys out that you're out there, if you got any questions for Austin, please let us know, and we'll kind of relay that back to him. But dang, Austin, we knew each other. I know you came onto our team way about 3 years ago. Way
oh
was
no, it was longer
longer
than
than
that. I
that.
came onto the team. I
Yeah.
came onto the team in 2018.
Wow. Dang, has it been that long?
Nice.
So we're
Yeah.
talking almost 6 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. That's
And I was on the team up until about a year and a half, 2 years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
I left on good terms.
oh
I
yeah,
left
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
give more people opportunities to come on and do some things
Yeah.
because I had too many
Irons in the
oh
fire.
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Had too much going on.
Yep.
Yeah. So I knew at least back in the pay league days, and you were on fire. You end up with the championship belt over at what's the MPQs? Was that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so a little background there. When I jumped back into carp fishing in 2015-16, that's what I jumped back into was the MPQs, and I started going to Hubbard's
Right.
there in Mooresville. I started fishing for fun a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I started fishing competitively again. Like I said, that the bass fishing kind of lit a fire there. And when I started fishing competitively, um, that really kind of sparked my interest. So the first year, I fished a little bit, got a few medals, this and that, nothing
Yeah.
major.
Right.
The second year, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, I really kind of put my head down and started learning, doing what I could do to try to win.
Right.
I did well. I think I finished like 2018, 2019, 2020, all 3 of those years, I was in the top 3 or 4 in the points every year.
Uh huh.
And going into 21, um, I had told everybody, including Team Fish Fighters, that I was going to win the points that year.
And you
And I
did.
called it I said that in like February or January or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I did. I blew it out of the water. I think I still hold the record for the most points of any um, qualifier that's been held in Indiana.
Yeah.
Um, at the end of that year, a lot of people called it a fluke. A lot of people said I got lucky. And I, again in January, said, okay, I'm going to win it again. And I won it 2 years in a row.
Something must be in the
I don't know.
water.
I don't know if anybody else has done that, but I would assume Phil Lucas probably has.
Yeah.
Phil Lucas
He's
is a
good
great angler.
He is.
One of the best. So I can't say that I've done anything that somebody else hasn't done. Like I said, I'm sure Phil has done it. He's done about everything there is to do in the carp fishing world. But
Yeah.
like I said, went in, won the points 2 years in a row. Got I think 3rd place in the championship, and then 4th place in the championship 2 years in a row. Left, took a year off, came back last year, and picked up right where I left off. I fished about half the tournaments. Wasn't quite as high in the points, but me and my partner went to the championship and won close to 11 grand.
Wow.
I mean, we had a really good championship. We had a good season. Just all around, it was exactly what I was hoping for. And I don't know what's going to happen with the MPQ qualifiers, Midwest Carp Masters, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping something happens again next year because I'm looking
Um,
forward to jumping back in them.
I think it's out, dude.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, I think
Unfortunately,
it's not going to happen. I think they got a whole different new ball game getting ready to go on. But yeah, I think it's not going to happen no more. But
yeah.
that's
Well,
it.
whatever happens, I'll
Yeah.
be trying to
Yeah.
jump on as much as I can and do what I
Right.
can. But I hate to see it because I really enjoyed fishing that format and traveling to the different lakes and
Yeah.
the whole
That's
9
that's
yards.
just a rumor I heard. So if it's a
I,
rumor,
I've heard the same thing.
yeah,
So
yeah. But sometimes when you go to the right straight source to the horse's mouth and that horse is talking, and they're like, okay, that's sorry to hear about that, but life goes
yeah,
on.
unfortunately, is
Yeah.
what it is. Yep.
Uh,
More time for me to turkey and deer hunt.
yeah. So I know you like how you do a lot of times. When you get a lot in the competitive sport like that, especially towards pay lakes and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of trash talk, You know, how's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh yeah, how does that make you feel? And all does that make you just determine to be more, to go any more, or like, okay, well, I just have to show you guys, what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for the most part, it's harmless. It's just people
Oh
running
yeah,
their
I
mouth.
feel like
But
it's like
if you,
NASCAR a lot of times. Just competitive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I kind of
yeah,
see him like the WWE kind of.
yeah, yeah.
That's I love watching. On Facebook you see it all the
Give it
time.
a
I
big
love.
old bill
Yeah, I
there.
yeah,
honestly I love it. It's like you got your personalities and you're like go out there go get it. Especially me because I don't fish pay lakes or
Look at that right there.
yeah.
Look
See
at
there you
that.
go
That's what
like
I'm
that.
talking
I
about.
love stuff like that.
Got the belt.
yeah. I mean,
So
it is what it is. It's fun. It's a
Yeah,
good time, and I mean, sometimes people take it too far, and
yeah.
you gotta whoop a man's ass every now and then. But whatever, it is what it is.
When a lot of people do a lot of trash talk, and sometimes like, man, that
mhm,
kind of offends me a little bit. But that's like spoken straight from the heart. In a way, that's how competitive sometimes sports is. Um, when you get to the carp side of when the money talks and all that kind of stuff, you know, sometimes a lot of times I feel like too. You have to come back to the wild side and all that kind of stuff. Step back, enjoy the life a little bit, and that just to go out there and capture some of the carp, and just enjoy being out there with nature and peace and all that kind of
mhm.
stuff. Just bring you back to reality and you know back to
Well,
Mother
like I
Nature.
said, I took a season off. I
Yeah,
took 2023 off,
right.
and I fished a couple and qualified for the championship, and I didn't even fish the championship just
Yeah,
because I was so kind of run down
yeah,
from
Yeah.
the bullshit that's involved with it.
right,
Mhm.
right.
And I had to take a season off and back up and go, okay, is this something I want to do? Do I
Hmm.
want to continue to fish and do this and deal with the drama? And I've always said that it wouldn't surprise me if Netflix doesn't pick up the Pay Lake carp fishing circuit and call it Flavor Wars or something stupid like that.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like it is sort of picking up here and there with the flavor thing, but I mean
Oh yeah,
drama. But you just gotta like just sit back and just eat your popcorn and watch. Kind of like, okay,
yeah,
what are they gonna do now? Hope
yeah,
Yeah.
everything's
yeah.
okay.
And I don't buy into the Flavor War thing just
Yeah,
because I use it all. I mean I use Joe's stuff, I use Ron's stuff, I use anything I can get a hold of. If it's good, I use it.
yeah,
Yep, that's what I tell people.
So
And, I'm wild water, so, uh, there's not as much of that over here. It's more the boily wars is
yeah.
what we get in the wild water. But, I tell people if I like something, I use it. I don't
Yeah.
care what company it's made from. If I like it, I use it.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
doesn't
I'm
matter.
neutral. I'm
Yeah.
neutral. If
I
it's
yeah,
like
and,
good
I, and
bait.
I'll be that way until they start paying me. If they want
yeah,
to start paying me, I'll throw whatever they tell me to throw.
yeah. And it's just like I'm just neutral. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Austin. 100%.
Hmm.
But until they start paying me, or hey, get behind this, sponsor, and that's fine. Um,
Yeah.
but I love anything that's got to do to sponsor the sport itself. You know what I mean, and keep the community alive and keep
Hmm.
it going. And I love the passion behind the carp fishing. I feel like past 20 years or 15 years, especially here in the United States, carp fishing has got blown up even more.
Oh yeah.
All the European stuff is coming.
Hmm.
Everybody's liking those little dings and bells and shiny things and
The
lights,
bait boats.
bait boats, rods. I mean, like you say, you're tickled to death about what you got for
Yeah, I
Christmas.
got inflatable sling, my
Yeah.
new rubber mesh mat.
You're ready to put that whole gold bar laying on top of that
Oh
mat.
yeah, I can't wait.
So I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, in the United States,
yeah,
um, you got bass fishing, which I don't know. I don't know if carp fishing in the United States will ever be as big as bass fishing.
yeah,
But it used to be, bass fishing, then walleye and catfish,
yeah,
and carp
Hmm.
was somewhere at the bottom.
yeah.
And
It's
and I
still on the bottom.
I wouldn't be afraid to say that carp fishing's right up there
It's getting
with
there.
the walleye guys and the catfish
Yeah,
guys and,
Yeah.
yeah.
and everything else. It's getting big.
I think when
We're starting to see a lot of new blood.
once carp fishing gets really, really popular is when you start seeing lead inside the carp, just right there with the walleyes. Once you start seeing the lids in the carp's belly,
Once people are trying
yeah,
to cheat
we're
the
even with
tournaments.
walleyes, so. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't see that anytime soon.
No.
I've
Jeez.
seen a lot of the trout guys actually really take a kin to carp fishing because of the approach of it, especially wild water.
Yeah.
Stalking. They like a lot of stalking, and they can use their fly rods that they already have. And
Yeah.
they like the recreation of catching the carp, and also the carp care that a lot of the wild water people
Oh yeah.
show them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and a lot of that has evolved from the trout fishermen.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far off the beaten path, but
No.
the trout fishermen have paved the way for the bass fishermen, the carp fishermen, everybody. Because back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s, all these tournaments, catfish, bass, whatever, they were catching and killing every fish they caught.
Right.
And it was Ray Scott took a page out of the trout fisherman's book and said, why don't we do bass fishing care?
Yeah.
And when that happened, it completely changed the way the bass fishermen were and the populations and the size and everything.
Do
So
you believe that United States is backwards when it comes to carp fishing and bass fishing together? Because, like, of course, bass fishing is like the number one sport, in the United States, but all the other countries, it's carp. Carp is the number one sport throughout the countries, like the European, Japan, and et cetera, and goes
yeah,
on. Just
yeah.
like soccer is popular in all the other countries, but football is popular here in the United States. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know that we're backwards. I just think it's the
Yeah.
American way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can dig that.
And you won't find anybody more patriotic than me. I get it.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
I wish I had a couple ARs to hold up right now and just start, but
Oh,
it's
what a
not
Bud
that we're
Light.
backwards. It's
Or
just the way
no,
we are.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're Americans.
we're
Yeah, and
Americans.
I agree with that. It's the American way because bass fishing is a lot more active, a lot more hands-on. You're casting, you're trying different lures. Sometimes you're throwing big glide baits, stuff like that. So it definitely is a more American way of fishing.
Yeah.
Than carp fishing, and
Yeah.
carp fishing you're slower. Make your pot of tea, make your sausages on the bank, stuff like that. We wait 12 and a half hours for
tea
a
time.
bite or something. Right.
And that's what I think I like about pay lake carp fishing. Daniel, I don't know about your background if you've done any pay laking at all.
Yeah, I grew up in the pay lakes with my dad, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's sometimes you're there and you can't keep a rod in the water.
Oh yeah.
It's like a good mixture of both, and I don't care if you're fishing in a lake that the biggest fish in it's 10 pounds, or you're fishing somewhere like Hubbard's or Highway that has 30 and close to 40-pound carp in it.
Yeah.
I'm there to compete.
Yeah.
If I catch the biggest 10-pounder, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. That's how I am with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the happy medium between the European style carp fishing and the United States style bass fishing.
Yeah.
Right.
It brings the two together to me.
Yeah. It's tournament wise. Have you?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever did any kind of wild water tournament fishing, have you?
I did a couple. I went to a couple down on the Ohio River that Jimmy Sneed put on.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to think. I know I've done some little things around here, like on Prairie Creek Reservoir and whatnot.
I think you'd be really great if you go to like one of those Connecticut tournaments or up. I mean, I think I can see you doing it.
The only way I'd be willing
it.
to do that.
Yeah.
The only way I'd be willing to do it is if I went with somebody who's done it in the past that can
Right.
kind of guide me a little bit.
Right.
Because I'm too competitive. I'm not going
You are
there
very
to try to.
competitive.
I'm not going there to try to get 10th place. If I'm going, I want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Right,
think
yeah.
And I just don't feel like I have enough knowledge to know what I
Right.
need. Hell, even in the draw there, I don't know where to draw there. I've never been there.
Right. So
No.
yeah, you kind of like need a little bit of a guide and the person that's, hey, I've been here before. I know what this setup's like. I know what these pegs are all about, and you lead me a little bit to show me the ropes a little bit, and I probably could take you to first place, kind of basically.
Yeah, and I believe that. I think just the way I am, whether I'm hunting, fishing, whatever.
Right.
you get me started, I'm not going to stop.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. And I can see that. I really would like to see you in that, dude. I think you would, be in the wild water tournament because just the passion of thing you got. I think you got it. You really do. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It's just
right.
not something that's been on my radar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's
I do
not
all
a whole
kinds of
lot of wild water tournaments, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
uh, now, do you? I know you got. What's your bait wise? You got any secrets with bait? So if you told the audience, it wouldn't really be much of a secret, would it?
You know what? I got no reason to lie. I got no reason to hide anything. The qualifiers are probably over with, so I
Yeah.
don't
I
really
mean,
have too much
you
to
and
worry
me
about.
talked a little bit on.
I'll tell you right now. I learned something last year,
Yeah.
and there's an old man in the Carolinas.
Okay.
You probably heard of him. His name's Bubba.
I heard of Bubba.
He owned the Bubba's Hog Bait
Okay. Yeah.
for started it. Him
Right.
and a gentleman named Floyd. Long story short, I met Bubba down in the Carolinas probably 5 or 6 years ago, about the time I was getting back into carp fishing real big.
Yeah.
And Bubba taught me a lot. So I'm not going to say too much on what he's taught me,
Right.
just because there's a lot of people watching that, know a lot of, or sorry, not know, that compete against Bubba still.
Right.
So I am going to be careful in terms of that. But I'm not afraid to say a little bit about what I do around here that's not going to interfere with him. Just out of respect for the guy that really has taught me more about carp fishing than anybody, at least competitive carp fishing in the Pay Lakes.
Right.
Um, I hated chow.
Yeah.
Like I was the biggest advocate of banning chow, not because it's bad for the lakes or because whatever, but because I couldn't fish it. I from March to June,
Yeah.
I might as well not even fish those tournaments for several years.
Yeah. Because everybody's throwing it.
And once the oat, rice, and millet and things like that, started biting for the year, that's when I started doing good.
Uh-huh.
3 or 4 years ago, then I started throwing chow, and that's when I really started kind of, for lack of a better word, dominating the series.
Right.
Because I was able to do what I did in the summer and do well in the colder months. But when I make my chow, I don't get very far from just standard egg whites and a little bit of flavor. I don't do the bottles and bottles of flavor.
Right.
I put in 3 pounds of chow and 10 ounces of egg whites and 2 ounces of flavor. And that's
Okay.
about all I do.
Okay.
And unlike most people, I don't throw much grape.
No. Yeah. The
I
grape. There's some Indiana Lakes here. It's all grape flavor, but
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've always got it with me,
yeah.
but I don't throw it a lot.
Right.
I throw a lot of other flavors, a lot of stuff that people don't throw around here at all. So if I had to give one piece of advice for guys around here,
Yeah.
Get away from the grape chow.
Uh,
Start trying some other flavors
you-
because it really does work.
do you think chow is bad for those type of lakes?
I think chow is the best thing that you can feed carp in the lakes.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was kind of thinking too.
I
Now.
actually, so I sent off, and I don't have it in front of me, so I can't read the numbers, but I sent off to Purina, and I've got the
Yeah.
actual breakdown of chow the number 2 or
Yeah, number
200
2.
or whatever it is
Number 2.
versus the 300.
Okay.
So I've got the actual ingredients. I've got the way it's made. 200 and 300 are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The only difference is
300
it's
bigger.
protruded bigger.
Yeah.
Now once you get into the 400s, 500s, it's a different recipe.
Yeah.
But the recipe for 200 and 300 is probably the healthiest thing that you can feed carp.
Okay.
I mean, it's mostly protein with some crude oils, fish oils, things like that. And it amazes me, that any fish in these pay lakes where they're throwing a lot of chow,
Yeah.
that they could even lose weight with the amount of chow that's going into the lakes.
Yeah.
It blows my mind, really.
Do you now? Of course, the 200. Purina, chow, and all that kind of stuff. It's for a 50-pound bag, it's like, what is it? I think it's 130 now, $130 basically.
Yeah.
But you got
Yeah.
this other chow, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I'll
Everybody,
help you. It's called Ziegler's.
there you go. That's it. Thank you. Yeah. Some, within my team, I've been talking to my team. I said I would like to love to see one of my teammates at least would do a little video shoot on both of them. Both. Between what is it?
Ziegler's.
Zigglers or Purina Chow. I like to see put both of them combined with each other and all that stuff. How many could catch per fish, whatever. Which lines, and maybe kind of break down the strategies on both of them. You know what I mean? And compare.
Well, if you ever
I know it's
want to do a
cheaper.
video on that,
Yeah.
get a hold of me.
Yeah.
We'll get together and I'll come on as a guest and we'll do that.
Heck
We'll go to
yeah,
one of the
all right.
lakes and we'll do it side by side, 2 rods with each, and see what outfishes what.
Well, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Heck,
Yeah.
I mean, just to do a breakdown, maybe look at all the ingredients on both of them, and just see, because I know the Zigma, right? Man,
Ziegler.
Ziegler. Why am I
Ziegler.
saying that? Okay, well, you know me. But you know me. You know how I am. I'm scatterbrained. But Ziegler. But it's like I know it's cheaper. I don't know how much is it for a 15-pound bag. Do you know?
I don't know right offhand.
But it's not $130.
I know it's cheap. It's probably about half the price.
Yeah,
But I will say what experience I have had with it.
yeah,
It's half the price, but chow will outfish it 3 to
Yeah.
1.
yeah,
Now that's probably just because our lakes
yeah,
are so over flooded with chow that's what they're used to eating.
Right.
But I mean, I know the carp will eat it. There's probably ways you can make it that it'll be close to as good. But
yeah.
from what I've seen and what I've used of it, it's no comparison. I'll pay $200 for a bag of chow if I have to.
Yeah.
At this point, because I'm paying $200 and I'm winning $500.
Right.
So
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes the money talks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shame, but yeah.
It is what it is. No, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge oat guy. When I can throw oats, once June, July hits, I try to put the chow away.
Yeah.
Because I prefer oats over anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and since I'm, wild water only, I can kind of get away with throwing oats year round. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Jack Ragland was saying here. He said, "I heard Austin was giving out recipes. What do you miss? You didn't miss much right now, Jack. So,
Jack, the best recipe I can give you is to go to Walmart and buy a big can of corn and just open it and throw it in the water.
Yep.
There you go.
That's what I tell people. 90% of my fish, probably 95% of my fish, come off 2 pieces of sweet corn and a little pink pop-up.
I throw a lot of corn.
Yeah. Robbie Bishop, does Austin think that we should feed in the winter, and so why?
I think he's talking about chow. Should we feed chow in the winter, and if so, why?
Yeah.
Feed it, or should we fish with it?
Fish with it. I mean, could you feed chow in the wintertime? Is a chow is a winter, or is it a summer, spring, warm bait, cold bait?
I think it's all the time. I think you can throw it anytime.
Anytime.
I mean, look at the root boys. Look at Shane and Zach and Bear.
Yeah.
I mean, they take chow and they can throw it anywhere at any time, and they're catching fish on it. They've got it figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's all they throw. I mean, those boys are some of the best fishermen in the country.
Yeah.
But they've proven time and time again, it doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees out or if it's 20 degrees out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're catching it on it. So should you fish with it in the winter? Absolutely. Can I speak on how much is going into the lakes versus what the fish are eating versus blah, 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 blah? I can't, because the winter, I haven't researched enough for wintertime fishing. I'm too busy shooting ducks and deer and
True.
all that.
That's
You know,
true.
once it hits about October, I quit fishing
Yeah,
until
yeah. When he was on the team, I was like, "Where's Austin? He's not. He's hasn't been on the chat board since around October." You know, it's like,
yeah.
A
Yeah.
wise man once
I'm in a
told me.
loincloth in the woods chasing a deer. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
chasing that tail.
A wise man once
Mm.
told me, the carp will eat what we give them.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
When it comes to competitive fishing and all that kind of stuff, do you believe how much luck or percentage would you say between is it the bait or is it the angler behind it?
My view is
Skills
different
wise.
from my view is different from most.
Oh, everybody's views is probably different all the time.
If I had to put it on a percentage
Yeah.
of angler
Mm-hmm.
versus luck,
Yeah.
it'd be 95% angler, 5% luck.
Okay. Now, how about
And a lot
bait?
of people, what's that?
Bait. Your bait.
I think that falls under the 95%
Okay.
angler
Gotcha.
because just like all these other things that I enjoy doing, turkey hunting,
Yeah.
bass fishing, deer hunting, duck hunting, carp fishing, every little thing that happens is based on the decisions you make.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, I'll tell a short little story here. I went to Highway Springs a couple years ago, and I think there was 60 guys in this tournament, and I got dead last draw.
Damn.
I'm talking dead last,
Right.
and I pegged the very back wall on the back lake, and I started to head back there. And as I came around the corner on the dog, I saw a little tail just flicker in the corner. And I spun around, walked right back up, said, "Can I change my peg?" They said, so I swapped that peg from the back wall to the corner of the dog, and I ended up taking first place. I took third place, and in the top 5, it was me first, Jimbo second,
wow.
me third,
Oh,
Jimbo fourth, and I don't remember
Jim.
but we were fishing right there across from each other in the same pond.
Yeah.
And that one decision I made to turn around and go back there
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
what made that.
Jimbo's a great angler.
Oh, Jimbo's an excellent
Yeah.
fisherman.
I had a pleasure to meet him a couple of times and just watching his little bit of fishing skills. He's older man, right?
Yeah, I'm looking right here.
Yep.
Jimbo's the reason that says second place and not first.
Yeah.
How much hardware do you have?
Well, unfortunately, like I said, we just moved, but
Okay, gotcha. It's all packed. Oh well, there you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Yep.
got most of it packed up, and everything's so scattered right now from us moving that
Yeah.
I have nothing out, and
Yeah.
we're still get moved into our new house.
Yeah. My wife made me put my trophies out into the bait garage. So like, I know.
I think
I know.
I think I'd be putting her out there.
Oh no. But it's a well. She said everything looked cluttered, so and it
Yeah.
did. It
Yeah.
did. I had to give her that props on that. But I got a nice little display right in my where bottom feeder baits. You know, I make all the baits and all that stuff. I got a nice display of my. You know, so when people comes to my garage and wants some bait or something like that, they they can sign it to see the little bit of display there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
compromise. It's all good. You know, fit.
I've been in there a time or two. I've seen the
Yeah.
kiddie pool. I know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So nice little setup, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
nice.
absolutely,
Um, but
absolutely.
wow. So again, guys, if you're out there, if you got any questions for Austin's or what's when you okay? Of course, you said you don't like using grape, but if you have to, you have to. But what other flavors do you like to use? Your popular flavors that you like to use on when you fish?
If I could only use one flavor the rest of my
There
life,
you go. Yeah,
cold water, warm water, whatever, it'd be peach.
peach. I love
Peach.
peach. I feel like
I
between
I love
peach and
peach.
banana.
Yeah,
I mean, I love banana. But peach is there's. I feel like it's there's just nothing. It's an awesome. How about stinky baits? You know anything? Do you do anything with stinky baits or anything like that?
Any fishy?
I'll tell you, and if anybody's on here that fishes around me very often, they
Right.
can vouch for me.
Yeah.
Most of my bait, with the exception of chow, most of
Right.
my bait, I'll sit there and eat it while I'm fishing. So I don't use a lot of stinky baits. I use a lot of stuff that I know is, if it's good enough for me, it's good
Right.
enough for the carp. Kind of the way I look at it.
Do
Yeah.
you, when you're in tournaments, is your hands dark color from the flavors?
No, not really.
Okay. I mean, it's
Like
like
I don't use
Nick
a lot of grape.
Swayze. I think Nick Swayze and Bear. I think
Yeah.
they're between those two guys' hands is like it's always black half of the time.
Don't get me wrong. There's times when I'm fishing and that's what I have to do, or if I'm struggling. Basically, if you see my hands purple,
Right.
I'm probably struggling. I'm probably having a hard time figuring out what they want, and I've said, okay, I'll break out the grape.
Adam Slayer says, "Don't lie. I watched you take a spoonful of chow. Is that true? Did you do that?
I don't think that's true, but
Okay.
I've had many drunken nights, so maybe
Another
he did
fishing.
catch me.
It's a fish tail. Fish tail.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I really I agree with you. I like peach a lot. I especially
peach.
like a lot of the peach glugs.
Yeah.
I
Glugs,
know
yeah.
Wicked has their, I forget what if they call it, a goo or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But I like the Wicked peach.
How about R&W? Like anything from R&W?
Oh yeah, I like
Oh God, I love them both.
Yeah.
yeah, I like the R&W actually has my tied for number one flavor, and it's their mulberry.
Okay.
I love their mulberry in the spring.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to that, Wicked has a pickup. It's not a pickup flavor. I use it as a pickup flavor, but it's peach schnapps,
Oh.
and I've done great with
Peach
that
schnapps.
as a pickup. And then R&W. God, I can't even begin to name all the R&W flavors I like. I mean,
Yeah.
any of the peaches, the Carolina peaches, the hot peaches, the super peach. I'm trying to remember the main one that I've used. It's Georgia peach.
Georgia peach.
Yeah, I've used all of those for years, and like I said in the beginning, I'm not one flavor company over the other. I use it all, and the two that stand out, those R&W and Wicked, both of those I have done very well on, and I didn't even really start using Wicked up until about the last year,
Okay.
and I figured some stuff out with it, and I really started using it a lot.
So, now, a while back, you was doing some waffles for some tournaments and all. Waffles to help out a pay lake down south. How did that
Correct.
go?
I did it for two different pay lakes.
Yeah.
So I've been running those waffles or raffles or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, whatever you call it.
for about 12 years. I started doing it a long time ago.
Yeah.
On some hunting pages.
Okay.
And so I saw the hurricane that came through, and I mean it decimated Wards. I don't know if you guys saw the picture of Wards or not, but
Yeah.
Blew that dam out.
I mean
Yeah.
it literally rerouted a river through his pay lake, and the pay lake was
Right.
gone. And then another one just down the road. I'm drawing a blank. It's Anthony Honeycutt's
Okay.
lake, Big Ivies, I believe.
Yeah.
And both of those lakes were decimated. So I did what I could to help. It wasn't much. I raised a couple $1,000s for them. But yeah, well, Jeff Ward reached out to me.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and he had nothing but praise. He said, that basically it was $100 an hour for him to have a excavator in there to remove the sediment and kind of rebuild. And he said, that's a huge help for paying for that. So I did what I could do. It wasn't much, but I loved going there. I've got some great memories.
Yeah.
At Wards. I've never been to Big Ivies, but I'm sure it's a great lake as well. Wards was one of my favorite lakes on the planet. I right before that happened, I was lucky enough to take my wife down there, and her first time ever pay laking, and within an hour she was tired and didn't want to fish anymore from just how crazy it is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that are they getting back on their feet again, or do you know?
Yeah, from what I heard from Jeff, the last I heard, um, he's started the rebuild, and they're hoping to be completely back up and running by spring.
Oh wow, that's
So
pretty
yeah,
quick,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. It's a miracle because
Yeah.
I think at first they thought it was over. Like I
Yeah,
think
I
they really
mean,
truly thought they'd never have a lake again.
yeah, by the pictures, I mean, like you said, for anybody who hasn't seen the pictures, the storm completely rerouted the river and changed the where it flows straight through his lake and decimated his lake. I mean, it's not even there anymore. Now it's just like a big eddy essentially where the lake was. So uh,
Yeah,
to
and
hear that
when I
he's
saw
gonna
the
be able to
pictures,
rebuild.
it made me sick.
Mm-hmm.
How about mulberries? You like mulberry? Any kind of flavor of
In the wild,
mulberry?
in the
Mulberries
wild.
for the
Yeah,
wild? Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done any good on it in the Pay Lakes at all.
yeah.
Huh.
But in the wild, it's probably my go-to favorite flavor.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
I like peach in the wild too, so that's why I said if I had to pick one flavor to use the rest of my life, it'd be peach.
Yeah.
But
right.
I've caught a lot of fish on mulberry flavor and actually using mulberries.
Yeah, that's what I do. I pick them off the tree and use them not only as hook baits, but also
Yeah,
mash them up in my pack bait.
yeah. We got me and my wife. We have a mulberry tree behind our house. You know where
There
our
you
lake's
go.
at, and they just we
Yeah,
just watched a lot of these mulberries just fall right into the lake, and then you got these carp and turtles and
yeah,
and ducks. They all just
Mm-hmm.
gathered around half the time, and you know, uh, I remember when we first moved there, our daughter, uh, and this is like the second day we moved there. She was a little girl at the time, and she had a little Barbie pole, and of course, she had like a little bit of float bait. She was just playing around, and boom! I think she may have had a mulberry or something on there at the time, and boom! We're out there unpacking and all that stuff, and then we're hearing scream, and oh, she had a voice on her like crazy, because 8-year-old, 8 or 9 years old at that time, man, it's just a voice that was outrageous,
Yeah.
and she's caught a big old carp off that
Nice.
Barbie pole, and it was like,
yeah.
my wife's all worried. Help her, help her. I said, no,
She's got
no,
it.
this is her fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Go
Yeah.
for it. It's
One
just,
of one of my biggest wild water, and it may have been my biggest wild water carp. I don't know. I didn't weigh a lot of the fish I didn't catch in tournaments, but one of the biggest I ever caught, it was pushing 28 pounds out of Patoka Lake,
ah.
Oh, really?
and that's
We
how
did a
I
little
caught it. There
video
was a
shoot there at the Patoka Lake.
yeah, yeah, well, that's where it was at, and
Yeah.
and it was
Until
like
the
a year or two
DNR
before
came.
that. Yeah, and I was ready to fist fight him,
He was.
but
Yeah,
that's a different story.
yeah, it was a different
Um,
story.
there's a mulberry tree that was hanging over the lake, and I
Mm-hmm.
would just kind of shake that mulberry tree, and all those mulberries would fall into the water.
Yeah,
And it was almost instant. They'd hit the water, and all these carp would come up and start eating them. So I just started free lining with no weight, mulberries,
Yeah.
and catching them off the top, and that's how I caught. I was like
yeah.
a 27-13 or something like that. I
Nice.
held the big fish for the team fish fighters that year up
You
until
did.
Troy Taylor came in and kicked my ass.
Jeez,
You
Troy.
know,
Yeah.
Troy's a beast.
Oh, he's good. He's good too.
He is the Hulk.
The Hawk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's eating a lot of Wheatie bars, and all that kind of stuff.
He's eating something. Whatever
Yeah.
it is, I ain't gonna try to take it from him.
um, if there's something in the what do you? Okay, here we go. If there was a young angler or starting out in carp fishing, what would you suggest to him? To give him an idea on carp fishing.
Okay, let me further that question.
Yeah, go
Are
ahead.
you talking just fun carp fishing? Or are you talking if a young kid wanted to get into competitively fishing like I do?
You can do both. That's fine. That's fine.
If I had to say just for let's say fun wild water fishing,
Yeah.
one piece of advice that I would give any angler, not just a kid, but any angler,
Right.
fish, and it's going to sound stupid because it sounds basic, but it is. Fish where there's a lot of carp. That way you can
Mm-hmm.
build confidence in what you have.
Yeah.
And if you're let's just say you go to a spot that's overloaded with carp, it may not be giants,
Right.
but you're catching carp every 10 minutes
Cataract
on
Lake.
well, yeah. somewhere like that, and you're
Yeah.
throwing peach oats.
Yeah.
Well, now you know that works, and
Yeah.
you can take that somewhere like Del Hollow, where you sit for 3 days before you get a run, but you know that it works.
Yeah.
So you have the confidence built up to be able to take it other places and use it.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, for a competitive angler, I've had a couple guys that have came onto the scene that I've taken under my wing and kind of helped out. And the guy that I'm speaking of the most is Eric Miller.
Okay.
Eric Miller's my partner, and he's one of my best friends.
Nice.
And he came onto the carp scene a few years ago, and I told him, I said, I'm gonna take you under my wing and teach you a little bit of what I know. And I'm sure he'll vouch for this. The first thing I told him, I said, when you go to that lake and you're standing around getting ready for the peg draw and everybody's talking, I said, take your fingers and put them in your ears like this.
Yeah.
Because all you're going to hear is all the bullshit. This guy caught it on that. This guy caught this. I used this flavor. I used that bait. And then you're going to chase your tail the rest of the tournament.
Right.
You're going to be, when Gary Barnes catches a 20-pounder, you're going to go, oh, I remember hearing him say he caught a fish last week on oats. So then you're going to switch to oats. And then 20 minutes after that, Danny Abrams catches a 20-pounder. And you go, oh, well, I heard Danny Abrams say he caught some on chow. So then you're chasing chow. Plug your ears and do what you have confidence in.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the
I
best
know
advice
exactly what you're talking
anybody.
about.
Yeah, that's one thing I say. If you're always looking to the left and the right, trying to figure out what to do, and you're always trying to copy somebody, then you're already one step behind them. So
Yeah.
you gotta try to break the mold and get 2 steps ahead of them instead of always trying to chase what they're doing.
I know exactly what's going on.
Now, don't get me wrong,
No, you're
because
right.
this is somewhere that I actually have butted heads with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I ask questions and I try to figure out what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
But not because I want to copy them. I want to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I can be different.
Yeah.
Because eventually what they're doing is not going to work.
Yeah.
And when it's not working,
Yeah.
I can do something different knowing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's worked for me. It really has. It's worked for me well. I've done my own thing. People think, oh, well, he's asking me what I'm doing because he's going to copy me. I don't need to copy anybody out there.
Right.
I don't. I've proven myself time and time again.
And you have.
I don't have to copy anybody. I can go out there and fish with the best of them. I can hunt with the best of them.
Right.
I want to know what's going on around me for education, not because I want to copy anyone.
Right.
You did hit the record button, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's good stuff. So another thing too, when you carp fish and you're into competitive, into the, how often do you feel like you have to rebait your lines?
It depends where I'm at.
Really? Okay.
Let's take Hubbard's or Highway, for example, somewhere that has a high fish density.
Okay.
I'm rebaiting in an 8-hour tournament. I'm rebaiting about every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes. Gotcha.
Okay.
And that's if I'm not getting bit.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, if I'm not getting bit in 20 minutes, I'm going to be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
So,
there's just not
yeah,
that area.
Yeah. And I want to do what I can do to get them into my area.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a lot of bait getting out there, and then once they're in there, I'll slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Or I'll switch flavors a little bit.
Yeah.
That is one of the few times. Like I said, if you see me with purple on my hands, I'm probably struggling.
Okay.
But now I'm throwing something to start drawing more fish into my hole.
Yeah.
And once I start getting the smaller fish and the numbers of fish, then I'll switch back to something like, the peach or the strawberries, banana, and start trying to target some different fish.
So, next question. When you're doing 3 or 4 rods, okay, is each rod has a different flavor on it?
No.
They all have the same flavor?
When I let's just say I'm fishing 4 rods.
Yeah.
For the most part, now there's always the exception,
Yeah.
but for the most part, all 4 rods have the same bait on it. I don't venture very far from my bait.
Okay.
My bait's about the same if I'm throwing oats, it's normally the same oats I'm throwing all year long.
Yeah.
If I'm throwing chow, it's normally the same chow I'm throwing all year long. I don't like to mix my baits. I don't like to throw 2 and 2. I try to keep it, the same.
Yeah.
What I do, every one of those rods will have a different pickup flavor on it.
Okay.
And then every 20 minutes when I'm rebaiting,
Yeah.
I'm swapping all 4 of those pickup flavors
Okay.
Okay.
until I figure out the one they want. And then I'll start zoning in on that one.
All right.
Okay.
And then it might
So,
be two rods with that pickup flavor versus 2 with a different one.
so something that we do in the wild water, like we build up a big bait pile, like you guys do. Every 20 minutes you're casting out there, you're building up a big pile. Um, so when you get into them and you know that pile's out there and you know that fish are feeding, do you guys throw out just pickups? We call it naked and afraid, where we throw like just our hook bait without any pack or anything like that, because we know that we already have a big pile out there and that fish are already feeding. Do you guys do that, or are you always throwing pack every cast?
I can't speak for anyone else. What I can speak for is me. I am a firm believer that if they're biting, that bait's gone about as quick as you can put it out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because of the fish density in the pay lakes. There's a lot of fish in there. And when they're in there feeding,
Yeah.
I don't think you've got a pile getting built up.
Okay.
I think once they come in there and they're feeding, they're in there feeding and they're going to eat that pretty quick.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Not because you got one big fat sluggish fish, but you got 20 fish right there eating. And you can take a whole bucket of oats and dump it in the water, and 20 fish are going to have it ate in an hour.
Yeah.
So that you got to look at it that way, So I'm constantly chunking bait, and when I get into a tournament, like for example, I fished the poundage tournament with one of my old partners a few years back,
Right.
Paul Ramsey,
Okay.
and we got on him. I mean, we really got on him, and it was to the point where we couldn't keep rods in the water, and we ran out of bait. So I just threw together something real quick, as quick as I could. I made Dr. Pepper chow with no flavor in it, and as quick as it would hit the water, they were running it. So
what size hook do you use?
I use a number 2.
Number 2.
I probably shouldn't tell too many people the hook, but I'll tell you, I use the Gardner Rigas,
Okay.
and I have found that is the single best hook, even in a pay lake.
Okay. What do you put kicks or corn on it?
If I'm hand chumming corn,
Yeah.
I'll put corn on the hook.
Gotcha.
But outside of that, I'm normally doing puffs or kicks.
Puffs or kicks. Gotcha.
I throw a lot of sugar pops too,
Okay.
but that's more of a Carolina thing. Not a lot of guys around here throw the
Right.
sugar pops.
Yeah. Okay.
So can you can throw in corn in the pay lakes?
I don't know if we have any in Indiana where it's not allowed. Now in the Carolinas, it's not a thing that you can do, but in Indiana they allow hand chumming for carp with sweet corn only. You can't do hard corn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet corn, and that's another thing where I differ from everybody, because you see a lot of the old timers that throw like 5 kernels of corn in,
Yeah.
and that's fish off of, and I'm throwing literally 2 cans in to start, and then every time I get a bite,
I'm throwing.
yeah,
Yeah.
every time I get a run, I put another half a can in, and I'll go through 9 cans of corn in 5 hours. But
We show up, to every wild water tournament with the big double cooler filled with corn,
Yeah.
and everybody always tells us that's too much, and then
nope.
Yep.
Nope.
That
But yeah, Indiana, I don't think we have any lakes that you can't hand chum corn that I know of right offhand. Maybe Indy Lakes. I don't know if Indy Lakes allows it or not, but
and that's only if when you hand chum corn, like 5 pieces, and that's only if you're fishing close, closer to the bank, right?
correct.
The only person I have seen that, but the only person I've seen that done that way was Billy DeHaven. I kind of hanged out with him for a little bit at that time when me and Jim Donovan was kind of going around and doing the video shoots for the NPQ championship. Recording in it and all that stuff. And I seen Billy was having a slow day and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, it was a highway spring, and he was fished pretty close. And I watched him throw, and I was shocked. I didn't think he was allowed to do that, but
Yeah. Yeah, you can, and some of my biggest fish
Yeah.
I've caught have come off corn like that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's big fish bait, you know, and
Right.
Yeah.
they eat it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Um,
oh.
you got any shout outs or anything, or is anything else on your mind that you want to get
Yeah, we're
off your
coming to
chest?
the end of the show. Any closing points?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know that I have any shout outs or anything. I will say I want to say, thank you to a lot of the guys that have been there for me over the years and helped me. Joe Lutz with R&W
Yeah.
and One On, and now he's the owner of Bubba's. Joe's a great guy.
Yeah.
Joe has done tons for the carp community,
He has.
wild
Yeah.
water and
He has.
pay lakes. And then my next big thank you would be Ron Matthews.
Ron
Um,
Matthews.
Years ago, I won't say we butted heads, but me and Ron were not on the same page. And I had some friends that were big. I mean, it is what it is. I own what I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like I said, we butted heads and we never got into it or fought or nothing like that. But it was just a lot of he said, she said stuff. But
Yeah.
Ron got me to come over and start fishing some wicked. And he's been nothing but great to me.
Yeah.
Ron is an awesome guy. So I definitely want to say thanks to him for all the help he gave me over the last couple years.
Nice.
A big shout out and congratulations again to my partner Eric Miller, who won
Okay.
the championship last year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
You know,
he really dominated it.
I would like to see you come to the Carp Expo that we're having here.
The chili meat.
Yeah. Yeah, we call it, well, we kind of changed the name a little bit. I mean, it's been, called chili meat, but everybody's like, you put carp in chili? I get that all the time. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
oh yeah, that's what I get all the time. I get that all the time, and like, you put carp in the chili, and no.
They only the ones we get when we're both fishing.
Yeah, I'm like, so
There you go.
that's why I kind of like, I think we're the only state of Indiana in America that we're running a carp expo. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody else here in the United States is doing it, but it's actually getting bigger and bigger. We're getting more and more sponsors. We're getting more vendors coming in. We moved to a bigger building each time. It all started at Westside Bait and Tackle. We had started out for a little bit smaller building, and then now we're getting into a little bit more bigger building. And it's
Yeah.
like we get anglers from all parts of different parts of states. And Joe Lutz actually flies to these things all the time because he loves it, And of course, we all vendors now we're getting carp rod sponsors coming out, and out of the woodworks, more
Yeah.
flavors. I'm just hoping to see this thing get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it should be fun. I think we plan on getting a booth and just kind of showing some wild water stuff.
Well, heck yeah.
Stuff like
Well,
that.
Got to know where
are
to
you
open
guys,
up.
you guys
Yeah,
getting the
I think
booth?
we plan on getting a booth.
Well, hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. I didn't know that.
Yep.
No, I put
Show some wild water
Okay.
stuff.
I put you guys down.
Cool.
We're even to a point where we got two carp anglers, one from a Pay Lake side, one from a wild carp, doing a little stand up and talk about carp fishing. If anybody's got any questions for him. One's coming from North Carolina, Donald. I think it's Donald Harlow. I think it's Mello or whatever it is.
Okay.
What is the date for the expo?
I believe it's the 29th of March.
March
Yep.
29th.
March 29th.
Okay.
That's
Get a hold of me a little closer to that. I'd love to come out to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, just like you just said, you got guys talking or whatever. I'd be willing to do the same thing.
Yeah. We got Gilbert Hugsley's one of them. He's doing the wild water side, and then we got a gentleman named Donald. He's actually coming up here from North Carolina, and he's going to talk about all his strategies and what he does and all that kind of stuff. If anybody's got any questions and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Good deal.
You know?
Absolutely.
And
Good deal.
love the event. It gets bigger. So I don't think you ever came to one of these yet. I think you're. And this is
No, I've been to a couple of them.
oh yeah, you have once. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. But yeah, always a great time. People loved it. So, well, You got anything?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. And,
Oh, I loved having you on, man. It was awesome. You know, glad
Yeah,
you
of
came.
course.
You know, but yeah. All right, man, brother. Appreciate you. I'm glad
Yeah,
you came
thank
to
you
the
for
show.
coming on. Thank you for talking.
Yeah.
Thank
Yep.
you for being an advocate of carp care.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, coming from the wild water and the Pay Lake side, you know, not to get into it, but some of the Pay Lakes, you know, not the best carp care. We all know it, but thank you, you know, for taking care of the carp. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um,
And your teachings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right,
All
awesome.
right,
Appreciate
thank
you, brother.
brother.
All right. Yep. You guys have a good evening.
You
You
too.
too.
Oh, he definitely has a passion. If he got one of the big old tournaments and he had the right partner, man, he'd be dominating big
Yeah.
time, big time.
So if you know what you're doing on the Connecticut River and you're looking for a teammate,
Yeah,
go ahead, hit
reach
him
out to
up.
Austin. Man.
Yeah.
He's definitely a good angler to have on the team. When's USA Carp Guide starting back up?
I think our first locked in might be April or
April.
something like that. But
Okay. Okay.
you know, if anybody wants to go before April, just let us know. We'll get down there. Please
Yeah.
before April because I'm dying to get down there. I want to go fish again.
Jeez. But yeah. Okay. So if anybody's also out there, is March 29th is our Carp Expo. We'll have plenty of free food, free drinks. Um, uh, Vendors, contact us if you need a booth. Spaces are flying off the shelves fast. We definitely got a lot of anglers, and I mean we got a lot of anglers. It's vendors that's grabbing, you know, one or two booths at a time.
Mhm.
You know, they got some product they want to get out there and they want to sell you guys. We definitely plan this on March 29th, so it'd be definitely after tax season. So spend that tax money onto the Carp Expo and get what you want. You know, the stuff that you need to get those big girls on your mat. You know, whatever.
Spring Christmas. That's what we're
There
gonna
you
call
go.
it.
There you go. So good show, brother.
Yeah,
Heck
great
yeah.
show.
Heck yeah.
Right on.
You got anything?
No, just, you know, shout out to all our sponsors. Carp
Sponsors.
Angler, Big Money Beepers,
Yep.
Team Fish Fighters.
Yep.
Shout out to everybody over at Carpy Commando.
Carp
I don't know
Commando.
if you've seen Brandon Kim.
he's
He
doing
started
good.
his group over there. I forget the exact name of the carp group, but it's going really well over there. You know, it's growing. They're showing proper carp care.
Yeah.
He's got an album started where people can post their PBs and pretty fish.
Oh wow.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon Kim for what he's doing over there.
Yeah. He's
West Coast Bait Boats, Ultimate Bait Boat, Bottom Feeder Baits.
Yep.
Shout out to USA Carp Guide and American Banx.
American Banx, Team Fish Fighters, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Right on.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. Appreciate you.
And always practice safe
Yep.
carp care.
Later.